Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, so we opened up the show, still celebrating Game 7 because it was a beautiful Saturday night, watching the Sixers go into Boston and knock them out of the playoffs for the first time since 1982. But now you get a quick turnaround. Game 1 against the Knicks is tonight. And after the game, even though they were all happy, I love Nick Nurse's message to his team in the locker room about how long they have to celebrate that victory. Listen to Nick Nurse.
Let's see, what time is it? 10:10. You got till midnight. Enjoy this one till midnight. Then we got to shift. Then we got to shift gears. That's Game 7 of possible 28. Really tough, man. Like, don't let yourself get tired. Too much to play for, and it's exciting because I keep saying we're getting better. We learned we saw a bunch of stuff tonight, and we kept battling through it. Okay, we're getting better and better all the time. Let's just keep improving. Good job. Good job. All right, here we go. Sixers! 1, 2, 3, Sixers!
Sixers! Nick Nurse, you have until midnight to celebrate. Now, thankfully, we're not on the team because here we are Monday, 3 o'clock, and we're still celebrating.
Wait a minute, what time was that?
What did he say? It was like 11 o'clock? He said it's 10:40 or something like that.
You got an hour and 20.
Yeah, you got an hour and 20 minutes to celebrate, and then we turn the page.
You don't have time. Like, literally, you don't have time to celebrate. You got to get ready. You have to literally get ready. You can't go out. I mean, baseball, they'd be drinking champagne. Stubbsy would have a case of beer on his head, and and they have days to wait. This one, I don't understand what they're doing. They did it to the Flyers too.
Yeah,
the
quick
one
turnaround.
day and go. How do you even prepare?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Quick turnaround for both teams, Sixers and Flyers. And you saw the Flyers; they were not ready for the Hurricanes. Let's hope the Sixers are ready for the Knicks tonight. So you could weigh in on Game 7 against the Celtics if you still want to give Joel Embiid his flowers. But now also, how you feeling about this Knicks series? Are you confident or are you nervous? Now, according to Vegas, who's been wrong all along about this Sixers team, the Knicks are a minus 260 to win the series. The Sixers are a plus 215. So the Sixers are once again underdogs. But, Ricky, if you were answering that question, confident or nervous?
I'm confident.
How could you be anything else, right?
You have to be. The way they bounce back in a series against the best team in the East. Do we agree with that? The Celtics were supposedly the best team in the East.
Yes, I agree with that statement.
You kicked the daylights out of them in the last 3 games.
Yeah, you were the better team.
So why in the world would you be nervous about this? I told you before the break, I think Game 1 could be tough. Just for the sole fact of rest period, being able to prepare for a certain team, being able to prepare your offense and your defense for what you want from them if you're Nick Nurse. Not easy to do in one day. And that's what the Sixers are up against. Am I nervous about? I think the Sixers win this series. I told you I have a weird thought process of what might happen. They may end up in the championship.
It's crazy, man.
I'm out of my mind, too.
I don't think you are. That's the crazy part. I don't think you are out of your mind. I'm right there with you. I'm back, man. Like, this team, what they showed me in games 5, 6, and 7, it's everything we were hoping for coming into the season. Ricky, when we were doing shows before the season started, talking about how the East was wide open, talking about how, hey, if they could just stay healthy, on paper they could be such a good team. You're watching it all unfold now in those 3 games, and we're thinking, well, why not us? Who in the Eastern Conference can this team not beat? You just beat the Celtics, and you did it 3 times on their home court.
Yeah.
A team that was phenomenal at home this regular season. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I think I know what a lot of different people are thinking. Like, it was a tough series against the Celtics. They're coming into this one. They're going to be tired. They're going to be beat up a little bit going in against the Knicks. Is that going to be a problem? That's where the nervousness would come in. I don't believe in that. I think if anything, I mean, that adrenaline starts kicking. The Sixers hopefully will be ready.
Yeah, look, the Knicks have a good team, but I'm right there with you. But let's go to the phones. There's a lot of people who want to weigh in on the Sixers and Knicks series. You can as well. Get your voice memos in. Send your text to the Davis Honda text line. Pick up the phone and call us. Same number across the board, 610-632-0975. I do want to get some text shortly, Patricia, on what people are saying about the Sixers. But let's go to the phones because our man Slick Rick from West Philly's been holding. What's going on, Slick Rick?
Fellas. About to happen, I'm telling you. Sixers, they coming, man.
How exciting was that, man? How exciting was Game 7?
The name is not being said. There's a name that's not being said. At least I'm not hearing it. Paul George.
Yeah, man.
Before all this is said and done, Paul George's name is going to be said really, really loud.
Now, Slick Rick, I'm with you, man. Like, PG, he made some big shots when he had to, but what he did defensively in that series against the Celtics, I was impressed.
I'm here to tell you, to me, the strategy is Grimes and B.J. Edgecombe are the only people that guard Brunson. If Brunson goes to get a cup of water, those two guys are holding the cup of water for him. Because as Brunson goes, the Knicks go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Jalen Brunson matchup is going to be really interesting to see. And I am right there with Rick in having V.J. Edgecombe take his shot at guarding Brunson, especially because let's go back to Game 7. What happened against the Celtics? Derek White was having a really good first half offensively. Edgecombe goes to Nick Nurse at halftime and says, I want White. Listen to what Nick Nurse said about that exchange with V.J. Edgecombe, a rookie, saying, give me him the guard. Listen to this.
Obviously, he was great. I think they did a lot of helping off of him, so he was going to get some opportunities and to step in there and hit those, 5'11", that's amazing. But most importantly, he kind of came out of the halftime saying, I got White and I'm gonna do better on him. White was cooking, and I don't remember exactly, but I think White might have had 2 points in the third quarter or something like that, and a lot of that was VJ. And those are the things. I know everybody sees the 23 points and the 5 for 11, but those are the things that make a huge difference in games like this.
Yeah, man, VJ Edgecombe, the kid doesn't play like a rookie, Ricky, at all.
No, he didn't from the get-go. Think back to opening night at the Celtics. The dude lit it up.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, man. He was born to play, and this is a guy that goes out there. He could do a lot of different things. He could shoot the basketball. He could play defense. He could dunk, and his dunks are special, actually.
Yeah,
he got some leaps.
What he did defensively on Derek White, I'm thinking, I don't know if you could trust VJ, and I say trust. I mean, put a rookie on Jalen Brunson for the whole game. But I like what Slick Rick's saying is maybe VJ and Quentin Grimes. I also wouldn't mind seeing what Kelly Oubre can do defensively a little bit against Jalen Brunson. Brunson's going to get his points, but you got to try to limit them as much as possible. But that's going to be the interesting matchups tonight. Like, who's going to guard Brunson? Who are you going to put on Karl Anthony Towns on the defensive side? And then you got the same questions if you're a Knicks fan. Like, all right, who are we putting on Joel? Because Joel owns Karl Anthony Towns. Who's going to guard Maxey? It's going to be really interesting to see the different matchups over the next few games on how the coaches adjust and who they're trusting against certain players.
Yeah, usually game one is that feel-out one, though. It happens in every series where you have that feel-out. What you're going to try to do certain things. Are you going to stick with certain guys on guards? Are you going to change it up? What are you going to do with Towns? Who's going to D up on him? Is it going to work? If it doesn't work, got to switch that up in later games. I think game one is always a feel-out game. You try to get a feel of both teams.
Yeah, you're probably right. So we'll see how it all goes tonight at Madison Square Garden.
I think Nurse will probably make some switches, like in-game switches. If he doesn't like what he's seeing for certain guys on certain players, he'll make those switches in-game.
Get excited.
You get excited. We've been getting a lot of calls, and I've been neglecting our Davis Honda text line. Patricia said it's blowing up. We got Patricia Caputo with us today. Let's get a text in here. What are people saying on the text board about the 76ers?
One texter giving Joel his flowers. Joel has always been a warrior. It just took them beating Boston after a historic comeback for the city to see it. He's always had heart and wanted to win for the city, and with the entire country watching, he was able to finally show it.
Yeah, who was that texter?
Doesn't have a name, but from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, make sure you give your name so we can give you credit on the air. Look, we've talked about this before on this show. that Joel has battled back from a ton of injuries. And it's not always his fault. The orbital fractures, bad luck. The Bell's palsy, bad luck. Guys falling on your knee, bad luck. But to just play devil's advocate, he hasn't always been the best in terms of, showing up to practice on time or taking care of his body early in his career. So there was always people who held on to that narrative.
Yep.
But I agree with the texter. Joel has battled back from injuries. Go back 2 years ago against the Knicks. He came back and he basically played in that series on one leg, and he still led all scorers in the entire playoffs in points per game on one damn leg. So you're right, but it took them beating the Celtics in Game 7 for now a lot of people to realize, yeah, you know what? Joel has been a warrior. Joel has battled back from a lot of injuries. Like, I made this comparison, Ricky, if you remember, when Joel said, I've done too much for this city. A lot of people criticized him for that statement.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper makes that statement after Dombrowski says whether he can be elite, and everybody's like, yeah, Harper has done a lot for this city. It's like, wait. You can't rip Joel for saying the same damn thing when Joel Embiid has battled back from countless injuries to play. Like, if Bryce Harper says that he's loved because he wears a Fanatic headband, well, what about Joel Embiid? He's battled a lot more injuries than Harper has in terms of getting on the court.
Well, Joel Embiid has battled injuries, strange injuries, too.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, you look at Harper, I guess he did the same type of thing. He played with his injuries, if you remember. With that elbow, you don't remember the big elbow pad he had to wear when he was hitting?
And that was part of the reason
he was DHing.
Yeah, I was going to say that was part of the reason he was DH, right?
Yeah.
Because
so he's gone through this. But I don't think people got on him like that. Because if I'm not wrong, he had Tommy John surgery. And I think people recognize that happens in baseball and it's going to happen. So I don't think they look at Bryce Harper as misses time because of injury. I think they just looked at him and said he needed a surgery that you couldn't come back that quick from. But he did play through when they told him he needed it. Remember, they were trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I give Harper credit. It's just the way that we discuss Embiid versus Harper are drastically different. And I'm glad that Embiid now universally seems to be getting his flowers after what just happened in this Celtics series.
He deserves it. I mean, he's been through a load of garbage when you really think about it. I mean, think about his injuries. They were like weird injuries. He gets stepped on his knee. I mean, the Bell's palsy, gets hit in the nose or the orbital bone.
It's
just
been wild.
Odd things. I mean, you know what? You look as far as like Tatum last year blows out his Achilles. That's a rough injury. I mean, that's something that happens on the court, but that's an injury that does occur. I mean, breaking your orbital.
Yeah, that's
Bell's
just
palsy. That doesn't happen to everybody.
And it was twice, right?
Through a lot. He's battled through a lot.
The orbital fracture, I think, was twice.
It was twice because he had that mask on more than once.
Yeah, that was twice. All right, as we're talking about Embiid, though, and we're talking about this series with the Knicks. Anybody who went to a game 2 years ago in that series knows Knicks fans, I don't want to say they took over Xfinity Mobile Arena, but there were way too many Knicks fans for my liking in that building. I remember being there. I forget what game it was, but it was the game where Embiid dropped 50, and the Knicks fans were so loud and obnoxious. So the Sixers are trying to prevent that a little bit. So apparently the sale of tickets is being limited to this geographic area. And after the game, Joel Embiid, you just had a great Game 7. You beat the Celtics, and he wanted to make it clear to Sixers fans, don't sell your tickets to Knicks fans. Listen to Joel.
I just have a message for our fans. Last time we played the Knicks, it felt like this was Madison Square Garden East. So we're gonna need the support. Don't sell your tickets. This is bigger than you. We need you guys. The atmosphere that we've had the last couple of games in Philly, especially the last one, pushing it to Game 7. I mean, we need all of it. I don't care if it's 70-30, it's Knicks fans. They travel, they're going to buy the tickets, and there's going to be, some people that need the money and that, probably going to sell tickets. But don't do it. We need you guys. We got a pretty good chance. We're going to need our support. We're going to need them to be extremely loud. If you need money, I got you.
All right, so I love Joel's message.
He means that much.
Yeah, I loved his message until the very end because it's like, all right, well, what do you mean you got them. Like, if I call you up and I say, hey, Joel, some Knicks fans about to give me $5,000 for my tickets, is Joel going to be like, here's $5,000, come to the game? Like, what do you mean I got you? Is he starting some sort of system where he's going to pay the Sixers fans to not sell the tickets?
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know how he's going to do that. And he said it's bigger than you. Did you hear that part?
Yeah.
There were some things in there that were a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I know
it could be taken a lot of different ways.
I appreciated the message of what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
You don't sell your tickets. But, yeah, I mean, if a guy really needs money or a woman really needs the money and they have the ability to sell their tickets on the secondhand market and get like quadruple, I mean, who are we to tell them no?
You can't tell people to do that because some people buy like season tickets so they could get the playoff tickets just to sell the playoff tickets.
Yeah.
So they make their money back for the season.
But if you don't need the money, all right, if you don't need it and you just want the money, don't sell. Right? If you absolutely need it, I'm not going to tell you.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, there's a need and there's a want. If you just, hey, I can make extra money, I'm not really in need for it.
People, have you ever thought of this? Do some people like have tickets in New York that would trade off? Like go to the game in Philly and people go to the game in New York?
What are you talking about? With
like
Knicks fans?
Yeah, I wonder if there's people that do that.
Well, I mean, the reasoning of the reason why Knicks fans usually buy the tickets is because
they're cheaper, but they're not that much different.
Yeah, that's the argument usually. Oh, well, it's cheaper to come down to Philly. But, yeah, I'm looking at the tickets right now for Game 3 in Philadelphia on Friday night. Dude, there's not a cheap ticket in the house. I mean, even the worst seats in the house are going for over $300 a piece, and that's like way up in the second level. This is an expensive ticket regardless. And I think in Madison Square Garden tonight, they're very similarly priced. But, yeah, if you don't need the money, don't sell to New York fans. Like, I agree with Joel. We can't let the Knicks fans take over Xfinity Mobile Arena. It's ridiculous. We're the best fan base in the country in terms of the city of Philadelphia. It's embarrassing when they do that.
Standing room only is $317. Although that is way up in the rafters.
Where, MSG or here?
Yeah, MSG.
Oh, they got standing room only tickets at MSG.
Yeah, but they are way up in the rafters. Like they are as high as you can go.
That's, would you say 317?
It says 317. Section 414 is 327 right now.
The lowest price ticket that I'm seeing right now on StubHub is $298 at Xfinity Mobile Arena. And that is section 205A, which is like in the corner in the second level.
Yeah, there's none for 200 except the 317 is the lowest, and that's standing room. And when I tell you that's in the rafters, I believe they're in the rafters.
Man, I'm looking at here.
Now, if you want something behind, like front row, $15,000 tonight.
Yeah, they're expensive in Philly too, man. I'm looking right behind or like third row from the court. It's like $5,200 in Philly on Wednesday night. Or Friday night, excuse me. Man, oh, man. Well, look, we'll continue to talk about the Sixers. We're celebrating Game 7, but we also got an eye on Game 1 tonight versus the Knicks. You can get in on that conversation. But they're not the only game in town tonight. The Flyers back in action in Carolina for Game 2. Game 1 did not go as we all wanted it to go. How do they turn the page tonight? We'll hear what Rick Tocchet had to say. We'll hear what Captain Sean Couturier had to say. So even though we're talking Sixers, we're also talking a little hockey as well as we get ready for Game 2 coming up next. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo on 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, welcome back into Unfiltered on this Monday afternoon. We got a triple header tonight. You got the Phillies and the Marlins, which unfortunately for the Phillies and our man Ricky Bo, that is probably third on most people's list tonight. Ricky Bo's doing pregame tonight.
I have to do it.
Yeah.
Although the good part is I'll be here and all three games will be up and on.
Yeah, you got a good seat there to watch all three games.
Oh yeah, I have my computer. We have this whatever their their version of a work thing, so it has all the games on. So I could put Phillies game will be on there, so it'll be on my computer. I have my own little TV, and then I have about 30 big screens.
Yeah, because you got Phillies game at 6:40. Is it tonight?
Or 6:40.
6:40.
So I have to literally go from here to boom, boom.
And then you got Flyers dropping the puck at 7. You could.
You want to go? Should we hop on a plane?
We should go to Carolina tonight.
You can get a ticket, $148.
Yeah, we should go.
144.
So 7 o'clock drop of the puck. You can listen to our man Tim Saunders on our sister station WMMR tonight if you want the local play-by-play, because that game is on ESPN tonight. And then at 8 o'clock is when the Sixers tip off. And what's that game on? NBC 10 tonight? I think it is on NBC 10. So if you want local play-by-play for that, tune in to Fanatic.
Yeah, the Sixers
for
and
Tom
Flyers.
McGinnis.
Sixers and Flyers are done with
local programming.
With local, yeah.
But not on the Fanatic.
But they do have like pre and post on still.
So, all right, we've been talking a lot about the Sixers. We will get back to that. We're going to talk Sixers throughout the show, so you could certainly still weigh in on anything you want to talk about as the Sixers get ready for the Knicks tonight in Game 1. But let's talk about the Flyers. So Saturday night, they go into Carolina. I was hopeful that maybe the long layoff for the Hurricanes would allow the Flyers to come out and steal that game. And, in fact, it was the opposite. The Flyers were not ready for Carolina's speed, for Carolina's tempo, for the style of play that the Carolina Hurricanes play with. And it only took 90 seconds for the Hurricanes to take a 1-0 lead. They were up 2, 10 minutes into the first period. The Flyers started to play a little bit better down the stretch, but they just couldn't generate enough offense. And now here we are, big Game 2, and they're huge underdogs again tonight, Ricky.
Yeah, they are huge. You know what? I don't know if the game the other night was because they were tired and beat up from the Pittsburgh series and maybe they just weren't mentally there. But the way the Carolina Hurricanes hemmed in the Flyers was not a good sign. That was not a good sign at all. As a matter of fact, I would say that was the biggest nightmare Tocchet could have had, is that, number one, Carolina comes out and scores very quickly.
Yeah.
And then they scored the second one fairly quickly, and the second one should have been stopped by Vladar. But they're going to need him to be special in Game 2 because somehow, some way, they got to find their legs, and they got to not be afraid to carry the puck themselves. You know how many times, and this is what pissed me off early in the season, or like in January when they were struggling. They couldn't even. They iced the puck like 8 times early in that game. The hell are you doing?
Yeah, they were on their heels all night pretty much against Carolina. And you just said you didn't think they were mentally ready. That's exactly what Rick Tocchet talked about after Game 1. That he just didn't think they were mentally prepared to take on the Hurricanes. Listen to Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, I don't know if we're mentally prepared to play tonight in the sense. I think winning our playoff series, not making the playoffs, I think, there's a lot of excitement. I don't think we got down to earth quick enough for this game. And then that's what happens, right? Your legs aren't there. The reaction, right? You know the second guy's going to come to you, and you got to be able to make that play. And we didn't make any plays, especially the first half. I mean, there was plays we made, we didn't make them. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, wow. I agree with Rick Tocchet a little bit, because also when you go from playing the Penguins, which do not play anywhere near the same speed that Carolina plays with, and it is a quick turnaround. Not that you want to make an excuse for the Flyers, but you can understand a little bit why it took them almost 2 periods before it seemed like they got acclimated to that style.
Yeah, it took them a little while. Once they did, I thought they put some offensive pressure on Carolina, because I think that they had one shot in the first period for most of the period. And you know what the shot was? Rasmus Ristolainen clearing the puck, and it went on net from the other zone.
Yeah, they struggled.
You can't have that. And the other thing is you can't miss your opportunities. Zegras missed a couple of chances at a one-timer that could have put the Flyers on the board. Konechny looked terrible. I don't know what happened to him. He looked like he was having a hard time just skating.
Yeah, I don't know if he's 100% healthy.
I said this about 2 weeks ago. I didn't think he was.
Yeah, I don't think he is. But the other thing that frustrates me with this Flyers team, when you are the worst team on paper, which the Flyers are, we've talked about that. The Hurricanes are favored for a reason. You got to take advantage of your power play opportunities. So when you do get under the Hurricanes' skin a little bit, or you get them off their game a little bit, and they take a stupid penalty, you got to be able to do something on the power play. They go 0 for 4 on Saturday night, and at one point on their first 3 power plays, the Hurricanes had just as many shots on the Flyers' power play that the Flyers had. Like, you can't do that, and this has been a problem for 10 years now with this Flyers team. Their power play has been terrible. But if you want to steal a game against a better opponent, yeah, your goalie needs to stand on his head, but you also got to be able to convert on the power play every once in a while. This team can't do it.
No, their power play, as a matter of fact, they're having a hard time getting shots off on the power play. You got to be better than that. You're in the National Hockey League. You got to be able to get shots on goal. I don't know what Rick Tocchet's going to do about that. But that is one of their biggest problems. It didn't really lurk too badly in the Pittsburgh series, but this series, if you're not scoring when you have a power play, there's going to be problems. And you're going to have to do something special team-wise. There's no doubt about it.
Now, I don't know if I'm just still riding the high of the Sixers taking Game 7.
It didn't hurt as bad, did it?
No, it did not on Saturday.
I was sick to my stomach watching the first period.
But I'm going to say this. I think the Flyers steal Game 2 tonight. Like, I think they're going to adjust. I think they're going to come out. I felt like I loved what they were doing towards the end of Game 1 when they made it more physical. They got a little chippy. Mm-hmm. They let the Hurricanes know, hey, listen, we're not just going to roll over and die. We're going to play you hard, and we're going to continue to play you hard. Now, I don't think Tippett's in again tonight. We'll get that soon.
Here's the hope. The hope would be that you go out there and you shock them a little bit. Your speed's up a little bit from Game 1. That would shock them a little bit. You handle the puck better in Game 2, that would shock the Hurricanes. That's what you need. You need some kind of shock value that, hey, we're not going away. We're going to be here right in front of you the whole time. And you know what? You got to give them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. I agree with hitting these guys. I agree with trying to punish them early on in the game.
Yeah, it'd be nice, too, early on to try to get a lead. This team hasn't scored a first-period goal all postseason.
All postseason. How the hell is that even possible?
I don't know, but it'd be nice to get out to a good lead. And then, like you said, Ricky, that first goal that Carolina scored, nothing that Vladar could do. The second goal where Blake splits between Michkov and Sanheim, it's a weak goal.
Michkov looked terrible.
Yeah, Michkov looks outmatched. I've been saying that.
Drysdale looked a mess last game, too. Just slow.
Yeah, they all looked a little bit slow. So hopefully they elevate their game tonight and get going. And after the game, you heard Tocchet saying they weren't mentally ready. Sean Couturier, who's played a lot of postseason hockey, not of recent, but's played a lot of postseason hockey, he talked about that too. You got to be able to move on. Here's the captain, Sean Couturier.
Yeah, well, we know the way they play, but I think they were just hungrier than us. We didn't win enough one-on-one battles. They won the 50-50 races, and that's what happened. You give them a lot of momentum, and you got to find a way to get it back.
Sean, is it one thing to know how they play and then another thing to experience it?
Well, I mean, to experience it, but I mean, they play that way all year long. Honestly, they're hard, they're quick, they play a simple, hard game. They rely on winning a lot of battles, and we got to be ready for that. I think we knew coming in that's the kind of game we would have, but for some reason we weren't good enough. That's plain and simple. But it's a long series. It's one game. Doesn't matter how you lose. We're down one, and you got to respond next game.
All right, so there was the captain, Sean Couturier. And look, I like the message. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a loss. It's one game. The plan and the goal for the Flyers was always you go to Carolina, you try to steal one. If you could steal one game, it's an entirely different series. If they come out tonight and they're able to make some adjustments and they're able to clog up the neutral zone a little bit and not allow Carolina to possess the puck as much as they were in Game 1 and maybe get a couple greasy goals and Vladar plays well, you steal the game tonight, hey, maybe we're talking about a big upset.
Here's the issue that I got from that. He's like the 50-50 battles. They won all the 50-50 battles the Hurricanes did.
Yeah.
All of them. I can't tell you that one time in that game where the Flyers were kind of on top of the Canes, like had them reeling. There wasn't really a time. There was a time they were playing equal with them, maybe for about 12 minutes of that game. But the rest of the time was all the battles were won by the Hurricanes.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do tonight. The odds are not in their favor tonight. Flyers are a plus 215. The Hurricanes are a minus 265. Yeah, still no update on what the lineup's going to look like for the Flyers. Is Owen Tippett back in there? Because that's a big loss. When you're playing a team that has as much speed as Carolina does, Owen Tippett's one of your best skaters, and it appears like he might miss another game tonight, which is not ideal for a Flyers team looking to steal a game in Carolina.
You got to steal. You have to steal a game. You don't really have a choice.
Yeah, try to steal one tonight.
It's not about trying. It's about actually showing up. I don't think they really showed up in game one.
Yeah, they weren't
ready.
And
it's not necessarily their fault. I think the NHL, they're a bunch of idiots. Seriously. They had just played. They get one day off. They find out they have to go. That was not something that you would enjoy if you're a hockey player.
No, and then
they're doing it to the Sixers.
And then we didn't know, even though game one was being played, they released the rest of the schedule. Like, wasn't it in the middle of game one when we found out the rest of the Flyers schedule? It was like there was no schedule for the series, and the series had already started. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. All right, but Flyers fans want to hear from you as well. So a lot of Sixers fans have been weighing in, giving Joel Embiid and this Sixers team their flowers and giving their predictions for the Knicks series. But for the Flyers, love to hear from some Flyers fans. What are you expecting in Game 2 tonight in Carolina from your Philadelphia Flyers? You could send your text to the Davis Honda text line. You could send your voice memos for We Hear You to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. And speaking of voice memos, we got some of the best of them coming up next. We Hear You Part 1, the best voice messages so far on the show. Don't go anywhere. Unfiltered continues right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, welcome back into Unfiltered. We got We Hear You Part 1 coming up this segment, the best voice messages of the show so far. We opened up the show talking a lot of Sixers and Celtics, celebrating the Game 7 victory, celebrating the Joel Embiid performance, and really giving him his flowers for everything he had to do to get back on the court and help carry this team to victory. A lot of people have been weighing in with their Sixers points. You can as well. We talked about the Flyers. Game 1 didn't really go as planned. They looked outmatched, but now they're back in action tonight. What do you need to see from the Flyers in Game 2? So you can get in on all these conversations. You can send your text, send your voice memos to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. We'll do We Hear You again at 5:25. We've been doing it twice a show, which I love because we've been getting so many voice messages. We do it at 3:45. We do it again at 5:25 with the best ones. So get your voice memos in. But before we do We Hear You Part 1, let's just update the Twitter poll because I'm very curious, Ricky Bo.
And I have a quick update for you when you on Owen Tippett.
Oh, okay. Let me get that from you now then. I can't wait.
The information I just got, it sounds like he is going to play. He was practicing today. He was at the skate today. He did leave a little bit earlier than the rest of the guys, but he was at the skate today. So he wasn't like doing he wasn't skating with the scratched players.
Gotcha. That's a good sign if he can get back in. Is this a reliable source giving you this information?
I would say very reliable.
Very reliable.
Yes.
How about that?
All right, so that's going to be a big boost to the Fly guys tonight. All right, so Owen Tippett will get you the full update as soon as we get it, a confirmed update. But Ricky Bo, very reliable source telling them Tippett might play. But with the Sixers tonight, they start their series against the Knicks, and our Twitter poll was a simple question for the masses. How are you feeling? Are you confident or are you nervous? I can't believe it, but Ricky and I both are confident. Based off of 3 games against the Celtics, I am completely all in because this is exactly the team you thought this team could be if they were all healthy at the right time. And miraculously, knock on wood, say your prayer, rub your rabbit foot. What other lucky things can we touch? Anything? Is there any other lucky things, Ricky Bo, that we can say when we say they're healthy at the right time?
The rabbit foot, 4-leaf clover, a little bit of anything like that.
Whatever it takes, man.
It is whatever it takes. You know, hopefully Embiid feels good. Hopefully those guys are rested. I mean, I guess you could go to both teams and say the same thing. Hopefully the Flyers are rested and ready to play tonight. But it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great night and just positive mojo today.
All right, so let's see where the masses are weighing in on the Twitter poll with their confidence level. Twitter poll, always standing strong, performing like an all-star. Thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. What do we got, Patricia?
All right, how are you feeling heading into the series versus the Knicks? Confident, coming in at 61%, and nervous, now at 39%.
Get excited! All right, a lot of people are confident, Ricky. I like it.
I like the confident thing because they saw what the Sixers could do in the last series. And I think one thing that people are gonna realize is that the Knicks are not the Celtics. The Knicks play a little different game. I understand that, and they're a good team. But the Celtics were supposed to be the beasts, and that's why I think people are confident. I think people are confident, thinking, you know what? They already beat the beasts. What's next?
Yeah, and let's hear from some of those confident people. We're going to do We Hear You Part 1 right now, always brought to you by Rycor Heating and Cooling, your local experts for energy-efficient heat pumps, lower utility bills, and year-round comfort. Learn more at RycorHVAC.com or call 1-855-MY-RYCOR and start saving today. Rycor, R-Y-C-O-R. We know how. Hit it, Patricia.
Now.
You want to know?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Are you listening to me?
We can hear you.
I have something to say. Please just keep it simple and brief.
Thank you.
Listen to me carefully.
And that's all I have to say about that.
We hear you.
My goodness, after that wonderful comeback that the Sixers did against these Celtics, we don't even have time to enjoy it because here we go again tonight. 3 points. One is, I hope, and I don't think it'll happen, but I hope that we don't think, meaning the team, that was our NBA championship versus Boston. Secondly, I'm a little concerned about who's going to guard Brunson.
Yeah, so we were talking about this a lot. One, I do not think the Sixers are looking at that win against the Celtics and saying that was our championship. If anything, I think it just gave them a lot of confidence, and they're still hungry. But the big question is, and we talked about this in the maybe 2 o'clock hour, Ricky, who guards Brunson? I think you put VJ Edgecombe on him early and see what he can do like he did with Derek White in that third quarter in Game 7 against the Celtics. But that is a little bit of a mismatch. Who can guard Brunson? The guy can score, man.
Yeah, the guy could definitely score, and he draws a lot of fouls, too. So, I mean, it's one of those things. You better put somebody on him that you're confident in that could stand his ground because you don't want that guy fouling out either or getting in foul trouble. That's the bigger problem.
Yeah, that's the exciting part tonight, watching all these matchups.
I mean, do you want VJ in possible foul trouble?
No, but I guess, you could try Quentin Grimes on him. You could try Kelly Oubre on him.
I think Grimes would work.
But he's going to be coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench, yes.
Yeah, so that'll be a good matchup to watch. That caller's spot on right there. All right, let's keep him rolling.
Zach from the Northeast, just checking in. I am fired up for tonight. But, yeah, watching that game Saturday, a little frustrating. I know the kind of shortened schedule or whatever. But, yeah, it looked like, they're dumping Chase a lot. If not, just dumping the puck. I mean, second half of the second period, they kind of held the puck for a second, stopped up, gave them that little shimmy shake. And they got the forechecker off them, could look up and dump around the boards instead of kind of that chip. I know they like to chip, but the defense is so far back for the Hurricanes. I'm looking forward to a little more of a cycle game.
Yeah, I'm with him, Zach, on that. Like, you got to control the puck a little bit more. So
they didn't control the puck. The Flyers literally were just trying to get it out of the zone every time they touched it. There was no, let's start a break the other way. It was kind of what they did is they put their forwards at center ice, and they tried to make a long pass most of the time. Immediate.
Yeah, you got to have more puck possession tonight. You got to try.
Have you ever seen so many icings at the beginning of a game?
No, they were on their heels, man. They were on their heels. They were not ready for that tempo of play that the Carolina Hurricanes play with. And you got to hope, all right, that was your game to kind of feel them out and understand how they play. They did play a little bit better in that last period, the Flyers. So hopefully that carries over to tonight and you steal game 2. We'll see how it all plays out. All right, let's keep them rolling.
Jaylen Brown, you're pretty weak for going on Twitch after this game criticizing the refs and Joel Embiid. You should be criticizing your coach, your game plan, your play, and your teammates. I guess all that hair dye rot your brain that rubs off on all the opponent's jerseys. All you chowderheads said before this series you were winning the East and the Sixers had no shot. Now you're using Tatum being out Game 7 as an excuse. Guess what? Tom Brady bromancers, Joel Embiid wasn't there Games 1 through 3.
Yeah, listen, everything he's saying there is right. I don't know about him rotting his brain from all that hair dye, but
it could be.
It's possible. But I agree 100%. Jaylen Brown whining not only after the game, but then going live on Twitch and doubling down on the fact that Joel Embiid is flopping. It's ridiculous. You lost this series because you blew a 3-1 lead. You lost this series because your coach nor your team made a single adjustment. You just kept heaving up threes. And the Nick Nurse-led Sixers, I got to give Nick Nurse credit. They made the proper adjustments, and they were the better team in the final 3 games. Stop whining.
They definitely were. Yeah, that is there. What did you expect? You knew people were going to whine.
Dude, they're even making excuses in Boston. Well, we didn't have Jason Tatum. Like, are you kidding me? The Sixers played without Joel Embiid for the first 3 games of the series. And you're going to complain you didn't have Tatum?
Yeah, they're when you whine, you whine. You're going to continue to whine because you felt like because you choked away a series is what they did. Yeah. And they're looking for any kind of an excuse to take the edge off.
All right, so we got more voice memos. We will get to them in the 5 o'clock hour for We Hear You Part 2. All right, so if you sent them in, you didn't hear yourself yet, we'll get the best of them coming up at 5:25. There's still time to get your voice memos in, though. So if you have thoughts about the Sixers and the Celtics, you got thoughts about the Sixers and the Knicks, or you want to talk about the Flyers and the Canes, there's so much going on. Give us your predictions. Give us your thoughts. Give Joel Embiid his flowers if you're somebody who used to call him soft and now have changed your mind after what you just watched him do. Send the voice memos to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. It is a shame, Ricky. I wish we could have spent the whole day today just celebrating winning Game 7. But with this quick turnaround
There's
now,
too much going on.
Yeah, you got to do both, man.
Like that's the whole point I'm trying to make. I want you to think about this. Everybody in Philadelphia is still trying to celebrate Game 7. There is no time. It's too much of a turnaround. I mean, you're sitting here literally staring at Game 1 in your face.
Yep. Less than, a little over 4 hours till tip-off now. And 3 hours to the drop of the puck. A lot going on. All right, here's what we got going on, though. Give me more at 4 with Patricia Caputo coming up next. I have no idea what she has in store for us, but I'm sure we're going to be entertained. And then Ricky Bo, a lot of people, because they've been so focused on the Sixers and the Flyers, haven't really been able to pay attention to the Phillies. So Ricky Bo, after Give Me More, is going to give us an update on the Phillies weekend and what's going on with this Phillies team that suddenly is winning some games. So we'll get to that coming up next right here, Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.